Brother, would you pray for me?
Road trip, I should have wrote that on. Much love and respect. But be looking forward to the Harsh Truth podcast show. The way to wake up the masses in the world today, the coldest way, like, to hurt somebody now is like telling them the truth. In order to get better and in order to heal, because our goal for the chosen one thing to do is it helps you gain self-love. Without self-love, you would never really be able to give everyone have their spiritual way. Loving everyone, he loved us. Loving us the same and nothing never changed. Unconditional boundaries. And you move smart, you get better. You get better, you be better. Over and over until you finally get there. God Almighty, the Most High, how He teaches human beings is through experience. You feel me? And what is experience? You living through it. If you haven't lived through it, if you haven't discovered it, if you haven't practiced it, like trying to do it, it's because that's called the fear of the unknown. You feel me? You don't know what's gonna happen because you ain't never did this shit. When you come to ones like us that been experienced and been gonna be like, bro, what you scared of? What you nervous for? Just jump, nigga, jump. You ain't gonna die, just jump. You know what I'm saying? And then this is where it comes, yeah, and this is where it comes back to where the monkey see, monkey do part. You feel me? Say the one that hasn't been in that experience, never discovered before. And all you had to do, it was the leap of faith. And that's where the leap of faith comes in. God tells you, I need you to take this leap of faith and no longer worry. Put your trust and faith in Him, and He's gonna take care of everything that you go through. You feel me? Never experienced nothing, never did this. That's called the fear of the unknown, because they don't know what's on the other side. They don't know what's gonna happen. But then you come against one like us with experience, and we know the step, we know the mechanism, we know the phase and the level. We know if all you gotta do is jump off, you're gonna fall into some water or whatever the metaphor we come up, analogy we come up with, example. You know, it's a process. You're gonna fall in the water, get sucked through, come back on another island, whatever you make up, right? So the person that never experienced that, what's gonna happen? They gonna feel that fear. They gonna get a little scared, like, man, I don't know. But then we come up, walk up on the side of them, look at them and be like, man, what you scared for, bro? That's where that monkey see, monkey do come in, where he's gonna be like, nah, I ain't jumping, bro. And then we just look at him and be like, laugh and be like, you know what?
You stay right here.
You stay right here. And we just jump off like no giving.
And they the type to end up like slipping, falling into the situation.
Yeah.
They have to go through
and I'm glad you said that, bro, because look, even though they seen us clearly jump off the cliff, with no fear, no nothing, and they watching us like, oh, what they gonna fall? It would still take a lot of pressure for that person to finally jump off that ledge. So for that parents to say an avalanche was coming, then he finally chooses.
He ain't got no choice.
He ain't got no choice.
But they'll probably want like 5 people to go first and then come back and be like, bro,
yeah.
you could have already had your little journey over with on that side, but you could have hesitated.
Nigga, you could have jumped off the ledge an hour before the avalanche even started.
You could have been the first person, but instead you're going to be the 6th person, then you see 5 others go.
But you know what, bro? I like that. We need to remember that. That's a good analogy of showing how people that are scared to take that risk. And what happened, the avalanche stands for God pushing you, or He makes all the problems happen to you until you get fed up to finally do it.
Nigga, that's 5 different people that was going to probably go through 5 different experiences. They probably all didn't end up on the same other side, but they came where they started at.
Yeah.
So your journey is still your own journey. They ain't no telling what they face when they went
through the heaven's gates, right? So a person that never experienced, you know, how God teaches human beings is through experience.
Everybody might want the same island, but everybody on a different side of the island. You gotta go through different trials.
Different phases, different trials.
All y'all end up
and that pressure that a human being goes through that never experienced nothing, and they're scared to jump off that ledge. Like we just give the metaphor example. A person being scared that never experienced nothing, but come across one that has been through experience. We look at the person and be like, bro, jump off the ledge. What you scared for? And that person, no matter what, does not want to jump off the ledge. So ones that we've been through before, we look at you and we be like, man, what you scared for? Just jump. And you be like, nah. And then we look at each other and just smile, do a little grin and be like, all right, stay here, right? Okay, so what's happening is that the person that never experienced nothing, the person that never been through nothing, never been through, none of that. It's called the fear of the unknown. You're scared because you don't know what's on the other side. You don't know what's going to happen to you. or you don't know, you just never been in that position, that situation, whatever it is to you. So even though you seen us jump off that ledge with freedom, you know what I'm saying, with no fear, because we know the steps. We already know. We went through. Even though that person sees us jump off with freedom, guess what you still end up doing? You end up still mindful yourself by being in your head, and that fear starts to grab you to where we're already disappeared in the darkness, fell off, and you're still standing on the ledge.
Wait, about going back?
And thinking about going back. The only way you can gain is by jumping off the ledge, because you already passed all your phases and levels. This is your last test. You feel me? Fearing you creates so much to where you go backward. But see, this is what happens. God, the Most High, creates them problems. He lets them problems happen to you. You feel me? Or he'll let that pressure gain so much to you. Or he'll let the trials and tribulations happen, like my nigga just said. The lessons are gonna keep coming and coming and coming until you finally learn the resides and examples and links to the metaphor what we're saying, the avalanche that's coming. You're still hesitant and scared and nervous and fear to jump off that ledge after witnessing two people jump off for free. The only way you jump off or finally make that decision is when the avalanche is about to hit you finally. Resonates and resides, and it stands for to where the fear in you, the fear of the unknown, everything that you're scared to do, all the pressure, all the mistakes, the doubts, the worries, the I don't know if I'm good enough, what if
fight or flight response,
all of that right there resides and resonates to the avalanche. You finally making that decision, jumping off the cliff. The reason why you finally made that decision is because that avalanche and the pressure made you. What else? The other metaphor and example that we're talking about on just the pressure making you do it or whatever you were doing.
Pressure got applied to you.
It's not only that, you learn from the good and the bad. That's how God the Most High teaches you. You learn from the good and the bad. Even though the bad shit went on, right? Guess what you learned? You learn not to want anymore. You learn what not to do anymore. And that's the part of where I tell most people, where in order for you to find out in this life what you do want, first you gotta find out what you don't want. You feel me?
Hey, that sounds like you're gonna build a song, bro.
I already made that song.
I
I already made this, yeah. So like, I like how you did that though. Hey, that sounds like it could be a song, but I already made it. Yeah, I know, nigga. We just try to throw it out there. That's how all that goes accordingly, man. I was saying, talking about resides into what we're gonna be speaking about on the Harsh Truth podcast show, man. Because that metaphor, that example, that analogy that we just said about a person never experienced nothing on the ledge, don't want to jump off, but sees two experienced people clearly jump off with freedom. But then the only reason why the person with no experience jumps off the ledge finally is because the avalanche that was coming had to push him off.
The game is to be told.
So right. You feel me? So what that resides in, on how we breaking that down, see, like when we teach, one word has 4 definitions, it connects it to everything as well, right? So what we were talking about, the analogy and the example of a person not experiencing the avalanche, that's really can go tie into physical realm and spirituality realm. You feel me? The pressure bust pipes, you scared, you worried, the flight and go, flight, that's psychological warfare, because that's dealing with the mind. And so what we teach on the Harsh Truth, access the spiritual realm of spirituality. Know what spirituality is. The spirit cannot see, touch, hear. Well, I can't say hear because you can hear it sometimes. But those 3 things in the physical realm as reality, like I can hit my nigga, I can hit me, you feel me? We can feel these shit. This is physical realm right here. But in the spiritual realm, we won't be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? We can do that telepathically, but that's dealing within the mind, right? So it's in the mind like a thought. You zoning out, you daydreaming, you dreaming, you fantasizing, you imaginate. imagination. That's all spirituality. That's how the spiritual realm works. So we just resonated, and that's how the example we just gave. Jump off the avalanche. You could have died if you didn't jump off. But you have, you know what I'm saying, without knowing, with your trust and your faith. So, and then the analogy ties into spiritual realm, meaning that look at all the worries, look at all the final tests that you on. Damn, that was a deer. Final test you on, you couldn't amount the strength and the courage to jump off. So it started to create what you got over, the fear. And you started to trial back. You started to go backwards, meaning no progression.
And once you start conquering stuff, you will start that mindset of, like they said, like why is it
Back 3 ways. Learning, going within, with God Almighty the Most High. When you actually go ghost like that, it's because He wants you to isolate yourself. You know what I mean? He wants you to isolate yourself so you can hear His voice.
Yeah.
Strong.
Lord, can you tell me what I'm really gonna do? Cause lately I ain't been wanting to talk to you. I know what's wrong after everything you brought me through. How can I not ever really wanna get closer to you? Lord, lately